Perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nurses in Charge. This is the Share Your Nurse Story podcast with Nurses in Charge Global. My name is Dr. Nyepu Kemoho, founder of Nurses in Charge, and I am so blessed to be here today. This is an off-schedule time. Usually we meet here on Sundays, but we kept the best for a later date, I would say, not best for last. But today, as we stand, we have WealthWave professionals here, Matthew Ramirez and Nick Mitchell. We are missing Kingsley, but it's okay. He's gonna miss this party and want to come back for another one. So I say thank you everyone joining us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I want to encourage you, Matthew and Nick, if you have a social media handle that you would like to stream through during this event, please feel free to just go on the top and where it says to stream, you can do that while we're here. Nurses in Charge Global, we are a 501c3 faith-based nonprofit, and I repeat, we are faith-based nonprofit, and we believe in connecting, celebrating, and empowering nurses and midwives globally. With this mission giving us as healers, we are healers. Let us remember that we need to be good stewards of what God has blessed us with. So when I heard about Wealth Wave and literally Matthew and I connected through LinkedIn. So if you take social media for joke and or you are there doing things that you shouldn't be doing, I am there doing things I should be doing, connecting with amazing leaders like Matthew and now Nick. I've spoken with Matthew several times. It feels like he's part of NIC already. And I'm just meeting Nick, and it's amazing to be here with you all. So I don't know so much about WealthWave, but I do know that they have nurses, nonprofit, people whose hearts are into serving society at any way that they are doing it. This is where Matthew and his team have really, they have invested so many time into building us up. So today I feel like a kid at the candy store because Dr. Nyepu was not always Dr. Nyepu. And sometimes I have to step back and just take a deep breath into how far I've come. I grew up in Liberia, West Africa. And currently Liberia is counted as I believe, the third poorest country in the world. I am not proud to say that. But when I left Liberia, I came to the US from a refugee camp into Boston Airport and lived in some of the projects that you can think of in Rhode Island and grew up, and here I am today. Long story short, it hasn't been easy, and I did not grow up in a home where I was taught to manage my money because money came and money went. And for this reason, my Daddy, if you're listening, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Daddy worked as a nurse's aide. He worked several jobs to bring food on the table, pay the bills, and later on, mommy joined us. But that just pinned the story to you that I come from a lot because I'm a child of God. But being on earth, it hasn't been easy. So when I hear about money management, when I hear about wealth building, I hear about stewardship, it just makes me want to dance one of those African songs that you see people dancing on TikTok or YouTube, and you're like, how are their feet moving so fast? I do those dances, and this is what I'm doing in my spirit right now. So without further ado, I just want to bring on our featured guest today for them to just tell us who they are and why they're here. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Nyambu. And I guess I will just start it off here because Nick will be taking it over for the remainder. So, just as an introduction, hi everyone. My name is Matthew Noel Ramirez. I work with a company named WealthWave, and what we do here, what Nick Kingsley and I do here, is financial education. As many of us know, financial education, simply put, is not taught in school. People in society are lacking it, people in businesses are lacking it, and ultimately our communities are lacking financial education. So I'm very happy, Dr. Nyampu, that you've allowed us this opportunity to showcase and really go through what we do here at WealthWave and share it with your community to really get a solid idea of what we're trying to do here with our mission statement on financial education for all.
Yes. And hey, with that, thank you. Again, I'm Nick Mitchell and appreciate you and your great organization having us on. Financial educator here with WealthWave, which is the How Money Works company. And put simply, hey, we think financial literacy is a human right. And that has been deprived of way too many people in that experience, in that opportunity. And we are tackling that head on. And we're doing that through providing financial education, financial literacy, meeting people where they're at, not charging a dime for it, with the understanding that, hey, when people are financially literate, they're going to make better decisions. And we think those better decisions, which are available to everyone, is going to be the path forward and solve these problems that are solvable. And that's what we're going to cover in this introductory class here today. Okay, this is going to give a great overview of our platform. We're going to hit on some concepts that once you see them, you can't unsee them. And keep in mind that, hey, all of this fits into a bigger platform. Anything that catches your eye, anything that generates your interest, we most likely have a lot of resources, interactive tools, financial technology, great educational materials to help drive that further. Hopefully this gives a great overview of what you have access to here through us. At the end of the course, hey, each of you are going to have available to you through your organization a copy of one of our great books. Our main book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, has been the #1 selling personal financial book since 2020. As you see here, we actually just crossed over 400 major TV show appearances over the last 6 years. If there's a 3-letter news agency here in the US at this point, we've been on it probably twice at this point, and really looking forward to keep driving that exposure further and wider to get this in front of as many people as we can. As you'll see later in our presentation here, we have a goal of educating 20 million families over the next decade. And the only way we can do that, hey, is with the help, is with the introduction, and through organizations like this to help spread the word about a company that's doing things differently. This level of exposure that we've gotten here is just unheard of for books. So why do the media love these books so much? Why are we having the type of impact that we're having with this? And that's because, hey, most financial books are just never read. All right, there's some balance between boring or intimidating, and that's exactly why we made these books fun. We made them relatable, so people actually want to read them. It's built to be understood. It's built for speed. It's built to take action on. We take complex charts and graphs. We do away with it. We make it fun. We have a cast of characters. Some of them overlap in our books. We have 4 books right now. We have 2 more coming out this year. And that's just the start. The characters have running dialogues throughout the books. And in this class, you'll see some of that. You are going to see financial material that is approachable, that's engaging, and most importantly, as I mentioned, actionable. So, hey, today, you're going to meet some of the cast of characters. Everyone has a favorite or two. You're going to see mine are Hector and George. You'll see why throughout this. And then Clark, who is kind of our vehicle for learning. Okay, and I'm sure by the end of the class here, you'll have one too. But just to start off here, Benjamin Franklin, he has a quote that just nails it. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. That's why we're all here. Today, you're going to learn how to start thinking like the wealthy instead of a sucker. So why do we use the term sucker? And doctor, I just want to make sure, is my screen coming through okay?
Not yet. Oh, I apologize. I should have told you. I thought you were still just, I wasn't looking down there. Oh, okay. Let me see here. Oh, it is my fault. There we are.
There we go.
Okay, we're good. Okay. So here are some of the media. We're very proud of this. And this is so important to us because we can never compete on paid media here in the US, right? State Farm last year paid $1 billion with a B, $1 billion in advertising. We're never going to compete with that. All of our money is going back into our education platform. Okay, but we have more earned media than any company in the financial industry. And that's because of the approach we're taking, because of how we're getting this in front of people. We don't charge a dime for anything through our education platform. And we really do think that over the next several years, we're going to set a new gold standard, not only in financial education, but what education means today. So this is a couple of the characters I referenced. Okay, all of our books, some of them have overlapped, some of them you'll meet new characters. We are educating through storytelling. It's a really great way to make some of these complex topics simpler. The financial industry has been made unnecessarily complex. We are simplifying that. So here's what I referred to here. And why do we use the term sucker? Okay, there's a couple of things. It's a little bit of a play on words, but not knowing how money works, it does suck. Okay, it sucks up time, it sucks up freedom, it sucks up income. And you're going to see that when you get a copy of the book, exactly where this fits in to everyday life. So look forward to that. I'm not going to ruin the surprise on here, but when you get a copy of the book, it's going to have an eyebrow-raising experience on why we titled this book the way that we did. But hey, today's class is going to be split into two parts. The first is going to cover some basic financial literacy concepts that we think should be taught in school, but they're just not. All right, knowledge alone isn't enough, and that's where the second half of the class comes in, which is going to be our 7 money milestones. We're going to give a great overview on all of this, but hey, it's just that, it's an overview. You have access to our platform, to our books, and to our educators to deep dive any concern or anything that you would like to learn more about. So hey, as we've covered here, we think financial illiteracy is the #1 economic crisis in the world. It affects over 5 billion people. So what exactly is financial illiteracy? So Frederick Douglass said, hey, once you learn to read, you will be forever free. And if this were the early 1900s, there would still be millions of adults in our nation who are illiterate, who couldn't read. They weren't taught. And now that has just transcribed itself into being financially illiterate. All right, so back in the day, they were illiterate. And when that was the case, imagine how hard life would be if you couldn't read. You couldn't read a prescription bottle, directions, a manual on how to do something, a bus schedule, your child's report card. Public education here over the last 100 years has changed that. Today, it's not common that someone can't read, but somehow it's still okay for most people in our population to be financially illiterate. That's what we're tackling head on. We wrote a book and we're giving classes such as this one in order to make financial illiteracy a thing of the past. So hey, here's some sobering realities. You take a look at the screen here. 44% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency. Almost $10,000 is the average credit card debt for balance carrying households, and they're going to pay over $37,000 in interest over 30 years on that. And when you look out there, over 1/3 of adults have zero retirement savings. Put simply, 1/3 of adults have nothing put away for their future. Why is that? How are those statistics even remotely possible? Like anything, it's an education gap. Only 28 out of 50 states require high school students to take a personal finance course to graduate. These classes, they're dated. They teach dated concepts. We want to change that. The One thing you may never figure out on your own, they don't teach. You can't make it up. This is the problem. So I want to hit on a couple concepts that are just so critically important. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. But if you haven't seen them before, they might be working against you. We want to get these working for you. So I want to take a few minutes learning about compound interest. All right, the power of compound interest refers to growth potential. And that's the growth potential of money over time by leveraging the magic of compounding. Okay, this is interest paid on sums of deposits plus all interest. Or as Zoe, one of the characters in our books, puts it, hey, it's interest on interest. Albert Einstein once said compound interest is the greatest mathematical discovery of all time. We all learn E equals MC squared in school, but we never learned what he considered the greatest mathematical discovery of all time. It's also been called the eighth wonder of the world. So what is that? One of the most important aspects of compound interest is rate of return. Check out this example here. Okay, and in this example, this is where the amount of saved per month and the time are the same. We're not changing that. Okay, it's the amount that's saved and the time that's saved. That's going to be our constant. The only change is the rate of return. If you save money in this example with a 1% rate of return, the small green band at the bottom of the chart, your money would be a little over $100,000. On the left-hand side here, you can see the exact breakdown of the constant, the 178 added each month from 25 to 67. So the green band shows those contributions over that amount of time at 1%. Then you look at the purple band, which goes to 3%, and it's 179,000. But look at the blue band at the top. Okay, we go from 1 to 3 to 6 to 9%. You look at that, and you would end up with over $1 million. You're not changing the amount you're contributing. You're not changing the age frame that you're contributing, the time frame. You're only changing the rate of return. And in that, it's almost a $1 million difference. Rate of return matters, especially you look at these compound interest. This is key. This gets your money working for you. The big component on this is getting started. And that is a critically important concept called the time value of money. You can never get time back or money lost. And there's 3 action steps to leveraging the time value of money. Those 3 steps are start now, save regularly, and be patient. Let's look at an example of this. We have Sarah and George here, 2 characters from our book. Sarah started saving at age 22. George didn't start saving until he was 30. They both put away $4,000 per year. Sarah stops after 8 years. George, however, saves for 38 years in a row. Look at their totals. They both won the game. Neither way is wrong per se, but George put in almost 5 times as much money as Sarah. How can that be? It's because even though Sarah stopped saving after 8 years, she started earlier. She leveraged the time value of money, and it made a critical difference. It is shocking when you see that, how just starting 8 years earlier, you can contribute 5 times less the amount and still have more money over that same time frame. Let's look at another example, and this one's a little bit, everyone can find themselves on this chart. The longer you wait, the more you must save. Look at how much you need to save to have $1 million by age 67. At age 25, you only need to save $178 per month. Now, if you didn't take a class like this and you wait until age 45 to start saving, that number jumps to over $1,200 per month. And what if you wait until you're 55 to start saving? That number triples to almost $4,000 per month. The moral of the story here is it's never too late to start saving, but it's always best to start when? Start now. All right, speaking of starting early, here's another really powerful concept for leveraging the time value of money. Only 20% of children are going to receive an inheritance. Who in here today would love to make sure their kids or grandkids are set up for their future, are set for retirement? This is a concept we developed called the $1 million baby. If you want to give your children $1 million at their retirement, which is more likely? You either give them $1 million in cash when they're adults, when they're adults out of your savings, or you develop a plan to put away a fraction of that amount for each child when they're young. Here's another way to think about it. How many of you have purchased a used car before? Have you looked at used car prices recently? Let me ask you a question. Is it unreasonable for someone to put $2,500 down and pay $250 a month for 4 years for a used car? Now, let me ask you this. What's more important, a used car or your child's future? Look at this same math overlaid onto $1 million baby concept. Exact same math. $2,500 was put down, that same used car amount, that same $250 a month for 4 years, and utilizing the time value of money, you ensure that over that time frame from birth to 67, they have $1 million. You see here, this is at 6.5% of an interest rate. I want you to ask yourself, how big would this be if it got that 9% interest rate that we referred to? This is leveraging the time value of money and the power of compound interest. To bring this full circle, this I think is one of the most important rules that I ever learned. When I saw this, my eyes opened. Okay, the rule of 72. I always say, if you haven't heard of this rule before, because this rule either works for you or against you. And if you haven't heard of it, it's really easy for this rule to be working against you. This is a little known mental math shortcut, and the wealthy have used it for years. Okay, it's absolutely essential everyone learns it. This is going to teach you how long it takes for your money to double. You simply divide any interest rate into the number 72, and it gives you how long it'll take for it to double. It works for you when you save money. It works against you when you borrow money. Think credit cards. So at 1%, to use a really basic intro here, at 1%, it takes 72 years for $1 to turn into $2. That's a long time. I don't know how long we all have for $1 to turn to $2, but I promise you it's not 72 years. Would anybody knowingly choose that? The answer is probably not. Yet people so often do, as you'll see here. So now, hey, we put that into 3%. Your money doubles every 24 years. That's a little better. You get 6% as your return. It doubles every 12 years. You get 9%. It doubles every 8 years. And now, hey, you get 12%. It doubles every 6. That's more like it. So now in the book, we give an example of a young adult, Zoe, our young character. Okay, and she received an inheritance of $10,000. If she saved that money for retirement with a 6% rate of return, she ends up with $160,000. But you take a look at this here. What if she could double her rate of return up to 12%? Take a guess about how much money she would end up with. Many people think that because you double your interest rate, you double your outcome. So the initial thought is I double from 6 to 12. So my outcome is doubled from $160,000 to $320,000. That would be great, but let me tell you something, it's way better than that. Doubling your interest rate does way more than that because of the power of compound interest and the interest you receive earning interest on top of it. Believe it or not, she would end up with over $2.5 million. That 160 is not 320. She doubles her interest rate. That 160 is now $2.5 million. That's why you have to know the rule of 72. That's why it's critically important that when you're saving, you're very intentional with this because the difference is it's just insanely important, way more important than people might think. That's why we're here today. That's why we're opening up learning centers everywhere around concepts like this. Now, I referred to it working against you. Here's another way to look at it. What about 0.15%? Where would you get this? This is more like what people are finding in their savings accounts at their banks. Okay, and if you divide 0.15 into 72, you're looking at 480 years for your money to double. And like Clark says in our book, he says, great, hey, his great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to love that double. But that same bank, which is going to offer you 0.15, is also going to charge you close to 23%, national average 22.44 on a new credit card. So think about this. That same bank, which is going to, in their savings account, double your money every 480 years, is going to lend you money that for them doubles every 3.2. Now you see why the subtitle of our book is Stop Being a Sucker, and why you want to get these working for you today. And of course, the bank will give you the lollipop when you're waiting in line. Everyone's seen the lollipops up at the front of the line. I was just at a bank, and I'll just tell you, I was at Chase Bank the other day, and right there on the counter, they had a big thing of lollipops when you're dumb, and you can guess what brand they were. You can't make this up. They literally have dumb lollipops sitting on the counter of the bank. So next time you're in your bank, look at that. And remember that. Take one on the way out. Right? It's like they're trying to tell you, but you just don't know the code. You really can't make it up. You'd have to, well, saving money in an account like that is subpar. It's written right there on the walls. Taking 480 years for your money to double in the savings account, but the credit card you use through them is doubling every 3.2 for them. This is why financial literacy is a human right. This is why real education is not going to come from our existing institutions. It would upend their business model. This is a grassroots, community-driven effort. All right. So hey, now that we've covered some concepts, compound interest, time value of money, rule of 72, even just with those three, you can go do a lot with your personal financial situation. But knowledge without action is incomplete education. It's meaningless. You have to put these concepts to work for you. And that's why we developed our 7 money milestones. These are the 7 areas of personal finance that everyone needs to put into action. You see them laid out here on the screen. 2 through 7 are where you're going to take action. 2 through 7 are what's going to make up your personal plan. But everything has to start with 1, because without 1, plans fall apart, plans are short-term, plans get upended, plans are emotional. A financially literate plan stands the test of time. So number 1, financial education. That's why we're here today. The first step is to become a lifelong learner with financial education. Since this isn't taught in schools, how do you do that? Well, you've already started by getting your eyes on this here. The second way, hey, get a copy of our book, get plugged into our online resources. It's just unbelievable what we have there. So many great tools and resources. Get connected with an educator who can help guide you. We have tons of other workshops, classes. Hopefully we can make some available through what we're doing here. And for even more information, you're going to be able to see some of our websites. We have blogs, whole bunch of great resources online for the self-starters out there. The second step is that you got to work with someone on this, right? You got to find someone that you trust. Hopefully with our education, you're going to ask better questions, which means you're going to get more customized plans. You need someone who speaks the language, who can help you cut through the noise. Someone who knows what can work today to help you reach your goals and help ensure you won't be taken advantage of. And if you're already working with someone you know and trust, like I mentioned, asking better questions are going to get better results. So hey, as we build your financial strategy, it's like building a house. We have a suggested path, as you saw, and as we're going to cover here, we had a suggested path on how to approach these different areas of your financial life. And the first step is to build a solid foundation. That's protecting you, protecting your family, protecting your finances from the unexpected. So you need a strategy that self-completes, even if you aren't around to complete it. And that's why proper protection starts with insurance. Only 59% of Americans have life insurance, and about half of those are underinsured. So when it comes to life insurance, there's always two major questions that we get asked. I mean, all the time on this. The first is, hey, how much insurance do I need? The calculation is going to be different for everyone, but I'm going to show you two really quick rules of thumb that can help you get to a good number for you. The first is going to be the simplest, and that just starts with approximately 10 times your annual income. You take your annual income, you multiply it by 10. From there, we adjust your life insurance needs up or down based on your specific circumstances. So we're going to take into account factors like age, mortgage, health, and probably the most important factor, the number of people depending on your income. If you have a bunch of, let's say, kids, okay, that's going to be different than if you had none. If you had a lot of people depending on you, that's going to be different from if you're just looking out for yourself. But you take a look at this, a number of factors are going to go into helping calculate that number. There is an optimal number for everyone. That underinsured number has really serious consequences, as we've seen that come up. People always overestimate the cost on what insurance runs today and underestimate the value, as you're going to see here in just a minute. So once you have that number, then the question comes into what type of life insurance do I need? So there's two basic types, okay? And that's going to be term and permanent. Part of the industry only sells term, and they say you'd be crazy to buy permanent. The other part only sells permanent and say you'd be nuts to buy term. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is it depends, all right? Because which one you need is going to be based entirely on your individual circumstances. One of these will be right for you. We just don't know which yet. So the first is going to be around term insurance here. And this is an idea of, hey, when you're young, you've only worked for a few years, and you have yet to accumulate maybe wealth on the investment side, but maybe you do have a lot of responsibilities, whether that's a spouse or young kids or a substantial mortgage. Okay, this is the sweet spot for term insurance. It provides you a lot of coverage for not a lot of dollars. A term policy is what does that. It's going to give you that coverage for a specific length of time, maybe 10, 20, 30 years. And if you pass during that term, your family gets the large tax-free death benefit. However, statistically, you're very unlikely to pass away during that term. And therefore, your policy is hopefully going to expire without paying anything to your family. This is why some people will say not to buy term insurance. But this is exactly why term can be a good fit for some families, since the insurance company doesn't charge very much for term. It's a great way to get a lot of coverage for a small out-of-pocket amount. Now, as you get older, your responsibilities should decrease. Your mortgage decreases, your kids left the house, and you have fewer years of earning to potentially protect. And as your responsibilities decrease, your wealth, your investments, your savings are increasing. Now, hey, this is where permanent insurance comes into play, okay? And if you do it right, permanent insurance can really help increase your wealth. Permanent insurance is just that, permanent, okay? Meaning you keep it for life. Because the insurance company knows that one day you're gonna have to pay out the death benefit, permanent insurance requires a larger premium. Right, a larger monthly out-of-pocket expense. I'm gonna show you a way to think of that expense as an investment here, but it's a larger out-of-pocket cash outlay. Because along with this higher premium comes additional benefits on top of the death benefit, some of which you can see here on the screen. You're gonna leverage this for a more feature-oriented way to use insurance to grow wealth. As we'll discuss in milestone number 6, the newest types of permanent insurance can allow you to grow money on a tax-free and risk-free basis, which can also help provide for tax-free retirement income and a safe way to grow your money. So permanent insurance is more than just death benefit. You can tie a savings account to it, an investment account to it. It gives you really powerful ways to leverage your money. Why would you want to do that? Because it has really unique provisions in the tax code for how that money is grown and taxed. Also, you can tie long-term care, or what we would call living benefits, to it. This gives you options on how you can access your death benefit while you're alive. This has been one of the biggest changes to the industry, where now we're drawing a distinction between death insurance, which only pays off in the event of death, and life insurance, which has all of these features that you, as the owner, can access that policy while you're alive. Why would you want to access your death benefit to cover some of this major medical? Long-term care is becoming one of the biggest out-of-pocket expenses that people have in retirement. This is not covered by Medicare, so people are having to fund these on their own. Most people think of long-term care as elder care in a nursing home. But you look at this here, 37% of people who receive long-term care are actually under the age of 65, whether it's illnesses or accidents. So it's not just for older folks. How many people know someone who's been affected by a long-term care situation? 70% of people are going to have a long-term care event in their life. However, only 8% of people over the age of 55 are covered. And when you look at what they're covered or not covered here for, the expenses are serious. All right, you take a look at this here. These are annual median costs not covered by Medicare. And if you have one that lasts more than a year and is not permanent, you have over 3 years of these on average that you're funding. That could be up to $250,000. We think having an insurance policy that can help cover this is key. So there's a bunch of ways to do this. And unfortunately, we don't have time to go through this in depth, but I'm just going to give a highlight. You can do standalone policies to help cover this. You can use your insurance policy to help cover it. The short of it is, hey, take a look at our platform, work with an educator to figure out which one is best for you. Milestone 3 is the emergency fund. Okay, and your emergency fund could be the insulation that helps protect you from financial disaster if something happens. We recommend 3 to 6 months of income. All right, and having the emergency fund, this is the critical component to keep your plan on track. Nothing can upend a great financial plan like an unexpected emergency if it's not prepared for. So a couple of rules here on emergency funds, but the big thing you want to take a look at is how much do you need, and then where do you keep it, right? Think of the rule of 72. All right, but the big key of having an emergency fund is that it's going to keep you out of debt. Milestone 4. Debt is the ultimate burden to plan building, to wealth building. We have to tackle debt head on. So, hey, in our culture, debt has become a sweeping crisis. It's just perpetuated by every part of the industry, every commercial, consumer society, everything has led to the great debt wave. It's one of the most common threats to having a sound financial plan. So the first is, hey, you got to get a plan to get out of debt. All right, the average American has over 21 grand in personal debt. That's not including the mortgage. Couple tips here to eliminate it. You got to know what you owe. Get a plan down on how to get out of it. Work with an educator on a debt calculator. Couple really simple things we can do here. Almost everyone overestimates what it takes to get out of debt. It's the not knowing that makes it so burdensome. You also may know that, hey, by law, every American has the right to a free credit report every 12 months. Most people just make the mistake of Googling annual credit report. And when they do, they get tricked to entering all their credit card info, subscribe to a free trial of this or that. And then you cancel the service and it kicks in. Forget to cancel the service and it kicks in. And now you're paying for something. But hey, annualcreditreport.com, great starting point for knowing where you're at. Then you work with an educator on working for where you want to go. According to the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, 79% of all credit reports have errors. So it's important to check yours periodically and make sure that there's not something on there that isn't yours. This is super common. All right, so these are the big three that you want to take a look at. These are the big three credit bureaus. So take a look at this. You got TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. As you'll see, if you do find inaccuracies, you can dispute. It is worth the time on that if you do find that. Number 5, okay, increasing cash flow. Addressing debt helps increase cash flow. Why? It frees up more of your monthly income that's not going towards things that you've purchased in the past, but allows you now to take that money that was going towards the past and put it away for the future. But everyone's looking to increase cash flow. So, hey, 4 quick tips here to increase cash flow quickly. 1, you got to create a game plan and get a budget down. When you get a budget down, we find there's a lot of lazy money in there that's going to things that can be redirected and made more efficient. 2, hey, shave some spending on car and home insurance. Reposition savings. Get the rule of 72 working for you. Get some of that horsepower there. And then if you qualify, because that'll be built into your mortgage, you can drop your private mortgage insurance once your home equity reaches 20% of your home's value. And then you can refinance it without that unnecessary cost. Inquire with an educator about that to see if you qualify. All right. Now, into the 2 here for the home stretch that I want to spend a little bit of time on. Milestone 6, milestone 7. Milestone 6 here, we freed up some extra cash flow. Now it's time to put that to work. So, hey, there's 4 threats to every wealth builder, and this is what we want to help get through. Think of these as your wealth building enemies. Each one will come at you from a different direction. To beat them, we're going to address them all individually. The biggest one, procrastination. We just talked about this time value of money. Okay, you got to start today. No matter where you're at, start today. Then, inflation. This is the tax of time. This is the silent killer. This came up a lot during COVID, but hey, this is a serious one. When we apply the rule of 72 to inflation, which they say is at 2.8, right, at 2.8% average inflation. Now that's coming out. A lot of people are debating that number is way higher. But even at that means that the value of your dollars are cut in half every 25 years. How do you beat that? You have to outpace inflation. Now you can see why on the cover of our book, if every 25 years your savings are being cut in half because of inflation, we have to work through that. It's a huge unaccounted for threat to the wealth building process. So you look at inflation, it was 4.7% in 2021. In 2022, it increased to 7.86%. That's the highest that it had been in the last 40 years. So in other words, our purchasing power decreased severely just over 2 years. On average, you would have to spend over 12% more today versus 2020 to purchase the exact same item. I repeat that. On average, you would have to spend over 12% more today versus 2020 to purchase the exact same item. And of course, that depends on what you're buying. We look at here when we were doing big inflation studies, and take a look at this. When you get to the heart of it, people are feeling this on gas right now with everything that's going on. That 7% increase was an average, but you look at the things people are actually purchasing, and it was way up. And this as a backdrop to real average hourly earnings being down. That makes inflation feel worse because it is worse. Huge threat to wealth building. This has to be in the forefront of planning. We have some great interactive calculators to help you visualize what that looks like and get a plan in to beat it. Impact of losses. Hey, this is a great chapter in the book. Counterintuitive. I'm going to speed through it for the sake of time here. But hey, you lose 50% in 1 year. How much do you need to get back to even? The intuitive number would say, I'll just earn 50% again. All right. But if you lose 50% of 10,000, you're at 5,000. You would actually need a 100% gain just to get back to even. Managing downside risk, protecting against losses is critical. How do you do it? and you got to reduce the risk. You got to diversify. And then there's a bunch of great financial vehicles that have benefited from technology to help you manage risk in really effective ways. Okay, you got to inquire with an educator to find which one are best for you. It is amazing what the investment industry has done to help people manage risk. I'm going to bring it on the home stretch here with the impact of taxes. Okay, the fourth and by far the biggest threat to wealth building is the impact of taxes. The tax strategy you put in place today is going to determine how much money you keep, how much money you pay the government, and how much ultimately you'll have down the road and how much you can leave to the people that you really want. So we all know how everyone feels about taxes. Nobody likes paying taxes. But there was a justice from Texas named Leonard Hand here in the US. He said there's two tax systems in America, one for the informed and one for the uninformed. And I promise you that is correct. We are getting the informed working for people. Almost everybody is overpaying on taxes throughout their lifetime. Almost everyone. And you look at where this is at, this is only going to get worse. Because you look at the top federal income tax rates, and if it feels bad now, look at where we're at historically. We are in historically low tax rates. And you look at the precedent in the past for where things are going, for where things have the potential to go, we expect this to be on the docket to increase. All right, you got to put a tax strategy in place that insulates you from this. Now, we're running up against time, so I'm going to regrettably skip over this next part. This is in the book. Maybe we can even come back and do a workshop just on this. It's the 3 ways your money can be taxed: tax now, tax later, and the great tax never. Okay? Keep this in mind. Get a copy of the book. Please engage with an educator. This is really worth a closer look. And it goes into the different account strategies, where you can keep them, why you might want money there, why you might want to leverage different types of taxed accounts. But hey, keep an eye on this. You have your Roths, you have your permanent life insurance, your Roth IRA. If your employer offers a version of Roth through their retirement plan, it is never the default savings vehicle. You always have to ask for it. Please have that on your radar. And I'm going to make a note that we will find some time to come back to this. Tax now, tax later, tax never, huge part of our platform. Then we look at, hey, running out of money in retirement. This is the big one. All right, 2/3 of people going into retirement fear running out of money out of retirement more than passing away, more than death itself. And we have some really great ways to help insulate people from that. There's 3 components of reliable income strategies. You see them on the screen here. Guaranteed income streams are crucial. Pensions are all but gone in the US here today. It has to be done on the individual level. Financial instruments have been built to provide lifetime guaranteed income. They are not all built the same. We help people identify if it's right, and if so, how do you structure them? So keep this in mind. We'll pair this with the tax conversation in another one. This is worth a deep dive in and of itself. But finally, our final milestone here, hey, protect wealth. Create a will. Make sure that when you're not here, everything's going to go the way that you want. This is so easily overlooked. All right, a couple big examples. Prince, Aretha Franklin, when they passed away, huge estates. Neither of them had estate plans in place. 65% of Americans don't even have a will. We have free, really professional, great wills available to people at no cost. And we have a bunch of great resources around estate planning that can really simplify that. 4 documents that your estate plan should include. You need a will, you need a financial power of attorney, you need an advanced healthcare directive or living will, and you need a HIPAA release. These 4 documents are crucial. They will take not a lot of time to get in place, but I promise you, if you need them and you don't have them, it's too late. And that is not a process that you want to go through. So if you think estate planning is expensive or time consuming, I really encourage you to maybe set that aside for a moment, because the costs, like on a lot of these things that we talked about today, have been driven down insanely by technology. And the time consuming side is going to be way less than you would estimate. So hey, each milestone here, it's a critical step to help you be financially secure. You see here, this is the Financial Summit. We want to help people check these off. This helps orient people to the financial industry and get a plan in place that makes them financially secure. We want people to be able to take control of their personal finances, give you the confidence to discuss your situation with a financial professional, and really encourage that to be the next step. We have great resources if you're looking for someone. If you're looking to take that next step, we have some great resources to help you find the right professional to work with. Everything starts with what we would call a discovery process. This is in the back of our books. We have some great digital versions of it online as well. This is your GPS. We just opened up a new learning center here. Well, we have a bunch of new learning centers across the country. I was just involved in one in New Smyrna Beach in Central Florida. And I always tell the people we work with, hey, for people coming here for the first time, would you leave your house coming to a new learning center without plugging it in to your GPS? Would you just wing it? The answer is always no. So hey, why would you risk your financial situation being the same? Get your financial GPS in place. You're going to a future that you want to plan for. This is your GPS, getting your money discovery down. It's at the end of our money books. And if you want one digitally, we can provide that there as well. We'll get a bunch of great stuff out to you. Hey, as I mentioned, we have a goal to educate 20 million families over the next decade. Look forward to getting you a copy of everything that you have access to through your great organization here. Really appreciate the time working through some of this. I know we sped through some of it. I wanted to be respectful of everyone's time on here. If there's something that you would like to learn more about, can reach out to us. We'll get you any and everything that you need. And I will hand it back over. Really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.
I was muted and my lips were were moving. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Nick. Woo! You had that under an hour and you nailed it. Thank you so much for bringing on board this introductory, and we said it, introductory, so he ran through it. That means there's more depth to this training that Nick just presented to us today. And I see Global. I said thank you for joining. I see you guys on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. I said thank you for your time. Thank you for coming in, because this is for you. We are bringing so many professionals your way so that we can grow. This is the empowerment piece of Nurses in Charge, because we need to grow together. We need to groom each other. The Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. So if we are not doing that, then we are just being left to be an extinct professional group, right? And we cannot do that, because nurses and midwives make up 60+% of the healthcare industry. So when you look at healthcare professionals in one basket, we are 60+% of the entire gamut of healthcare professionals globally. So we have taken this mental to empower nurses and midwives globally, and this is one of the pieces of that, because the Bible speaks on wealth building. You read the Ecclesiastes, you read the Psalms, you read Proverbs. In anything else, just read Proverbs. You will come across so much about wealth building. So anyone teaching you out there and you don't understand it, turn to the good book, turn to the Bible. You will learn everything you need to learn. But again, as Nick said, education without works, right? Or action, something you said, education without works is incomplete. So we cannot just learn and come here and have them speak to us without putting it into works. So NIC has already made a partnership. We have our MOU, right? Our memorandum of understanding signed between WealthWave and Nurses in Charge. So that means we mean business, and we mean to serve our communities at large globally very well, so that we can learn so many more workshops is coming on the way. So this was just to brush off, and this was just to showcase our the beginning of our initiative, partnership, and workmanship that we're doing here. And I cannot overemphasize how excited I am that we have started this journey with WealthWave, and we have Nick, who, listen, this shows that he sleeps and breathes this information. So thank you so much. Thank you. And Matthew is in the back. He's backstage. You can come out if you can.
Hello.
This was my point of contact in LinkedIn. And I encourage all nursing professionals and midwives out there to have a profile in LinkedIn, because this is where professionals meet. And then you can party in Facebook with me. You can party, in TikTok, any of those, but be there strategically planted and be intentional to learn something great and meet awesome people like Nick and Matthew, and Kingsley is in here. He was you would have also learned a lot from Kingsley as well. But just hold off and know that we have a lot coming down the pipe for everyone, and starting during the nurses and midwives international celebration of our professional contributions to society that is coming up. And it is usually just a week, from May 6th to the 12th, but NIC takes it to the entire month. And we'll have presentations, we'll have events virtually. A lot of the events will be virtually. And then we will, have a major component of it that will be allocated to wealth building, training, webinar going on in May. So mark your calendars, look out for the postings that will be coming out, and be there. This is free for you. We have WealthWave coming out here. They're not charging NIC, but they are pouring into us. And may God bless you all for what you're doing, because you are pouring into his children, and whatever you do for him and his children, you reap benefits from that. So thank you. I don't see any questions. That's the reason why I am rambling on. I don't see questions. We've been commenting throughout the presentation. And do you have any final words for us? You've said a lot, but still, do you have any final blessings for us?
I just wanted to thank you, right, for bringing us in and for the partnership. Really looking forward to working with you. I know it's like drinking from a fire hose. We just covered a bunch of concepts, but hey, it's a starting point. And the more that you see on our platform, the simpler it'll be. And hey, everybody is capable of being financially secure. Everyone's capable of being financially independent. All right, and that's what we want to help people do. So thanks again.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much. You mentioned the book. How can we get the book, Nick?
Yes, I'll have Matthew coordinate with you. We'll get everyone that wants one. We'll get them a copy.
Correct.
So
Awesome.
we'll coordinate that and get all of our materials out there. Figure out the best way to make that accessible and make sure everyone gets what they need.
Perfect. We need to talk about that, because Nurses in Charge is planted. God has planted us in 23 nations. So that means shipping and handling would be a tactical challenge. But if you have anything that would be like an ebook and something that
we do.
Perfect. Oh, you made my day. Awesome.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone who are out there cheering us on, and please do like, share, and subscribe. You do that anyway whenever you come across contents in the internet. But this is one that truly is spearheading the a worthy cause. So I encourage everyone here today to please like it, share it, subscribe, so that when we bring it on more and more content in the future, you will have that notification bell ringing for you to be reminded so you don't miss it. Don't miss it. When it's live, you can interact. When it's not live, then you're on your own. And even though that's even still great, but please be live so that we can congregate and interact meaningfully here. May God bless you all. I say thank you. Have a blessed week. Today is just Monday. Godspeed, everyone. Love you all. This is Dr. Nyepu Kemuha, Nurses in Charge. Share your story. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.